Hello, welcome back to the Statman Dave Clips channel. Today, in partnership with SofaScore, we're going to be taking a look at Donny van der Beek's future at Manchester United. Let's dive in. Over the summer, there was a lot of speculation in and around the club. Is Donny going to stay? Is he going to go? Where's he going to play? X, Y, and Z. But Donny's actually come out, did an interview with Rio Ferdinand's YouTube channel, 5, and said some really interesting quotes in a sense. I think it builds Donny up as a player that I think we, as Manchester United fans, we're kind of lucky to have someone like him around. Obviously, you can go and check out the full interview on the Rio Ferdinand YouTube channel. But the things that I popped out from it is kind of the positivity of Donny. Donny hasn't played many minutes for Manchester United, but I really feel like we're looking at a player that has got the right attitude. Attitude is a massive thing at a big club like Man United, and I think the thing with Donny coming from Ajax, you've got that kind of. You've got that background. If you are playing for a big club, you know what the struggles are of playing for a big club, and you know what you've got to prove yourself on the pitch, and you've got to prove yourself in training. And I think that's a big thing. Attitude in training is massive for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And one of the quotes that came out it's kind of good quotes talking about Donny's future and kind of what's changed in a sense. And the quote coming out from 5, Solskjaer, of course, sees a big difference, that I'm a bit stronger now. He can see now that I've had 1 year experience here in England. If he sees now in the beginning, he sees a big difference. And I think the big thing, the quote that was sort of popping out was a different Donny, a different beast. And I think we can all see that from the physical size of him now. I think he's got bigger, he's got more, he's got stronger. And I think the big thing with Donny is kind of looking at how he can fit into the 11, how he can move forward. And I think, the big questions about, is kind of his position, his role within the side. Like, Donny's obviously come from Ajax. And the way that they obviously bring players up is that mentality of they're very, very complete. So as much as Donny for Man United has played CDM, central midfield and attacking midfield, they basically get time everywhere. So they get time playing left back, right wing, left wing, striker, to build them to be complete players. Obviously, it's a kind of a philosophy of the club is to build these complete superstars that they can go out and they can sell and they can continue doing the good work of Ajax. And I felt that was a really interesting one for Donny in a sense, is looking at him in that competitive element, that training is the level and the position where he's doing it, and they've seen a big difference in that, and that feedback from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is really important. It goes further into talking about the Everton interest and the manager being very positive about Donny and saying, no, we're not going to let Donny go to Everton, we want him around. I think as much as Donny's positive attitude in training and the ability to muck down and do some work is really important. Also, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer definitely sees a future with Donny there, and I like that in a sense. And obviously, one of the big things is the lack of minutes in the Premier League. We want to see him play more minutes. I think he's got a lot of potential to help Man United in progression. And one of the big things that they were speaking about is the position of Donny van der Beek. So far for Man United, we've kind of seen him play attacking mid. We've seen him a little bit on the left. We've seen him a little bit on the right. We've seen a little bit in central midfield. But when he was asked, his best position for Manchester United, it was kind of, or his best position in terms of, is he a number 6? Is he, what does he sort of see himself as? And I think the interesting side with Donny, it was more of he doesn't care, just wants to play. And I think that attitude itself is absolutely fantastic. That was when they were talking about, can he play number 6? Yes, he can play number 6. Played there for Ajax. We can jump on to SofaScore and have a look at, some of his games. Obviously, the interesting side of going back to watch Donny in the Eredivisie play as a central midfielder is, you can see it is definitely a lot more lightweight in a sense in terms of the league, and the pace is definitely different to the Premier League. And that's obviously something that Donny has noticed himself, and he's got bigger. But you take his game against Utrecht, played central midfield for most of the game. The interesting side with this, if we look at the average kind of positions, it very much was Hakim Ziyech, number 22, playing as a number 10, Donny in central midfield. But you can kind of see that position when we talk about eights in a sense, and a two-man pairing in midfield. For Ajax, Lisandro Martinez was holding, and Donny was playing very much a box to kind of box playmaking role, or like as a roaming playmaker, one holder, one roaming playmaker. And this performance was great. I think one of the big things that you can see for his game by numbers is he did pretty much everything that you need in central midfield. 2 out of his 2 tackles, 4 out of his 7 ground duels, completed a dribble, 2 shots on target, both goals, 1 key pass, completed 89% of his passes. We can see that his heat map is kind of like where we'd like to see him for United. Pre-season obviously came. Donny played number 8 with the Man Utd against Everton. One of Man United's really good performances in pre-season. And I think that's a level where we're looking at Donny and where Donny can really flourish. And it's an interesting one. Obviously, Man United now have a very, very stacked squad. Like, the squad is stacked. There is so many attackers to get in there. When we've got the starting lineup now, that is a very, very good starting lineup. But like throwing in the likes of Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, Anthony Martial, Cavani in there. Maybe Ronaldo back to the left. Like, there's a lot of flexibility and fluidity from what the coaching staff and what Gunnar Solskjaer can do to change the event of teams. But I do think the big thing is having this pairing of Donny van de Beek and the Man Utd. That is where his future lies, is in this team. I think the big thing with the attacking midfield position in this setup is, I think a lot of it's geared in terms of creativity for Bruno to play those passes, to be to penetrate and so forth. That usually becomes because, the midfield behind is kind of a workman-like Fred and McTominay double pivot, which, like we sort of spoke about, is a very good double pivot. Like, this is brilliant for the big games. This is aggressive, it's angry, the games against the likes of the top 6, but also like a Leeds United or a possession-based side. These two are a great pairing. But I think it comes then, so what is Donny's future? And I think, as an option off the bench, to play make from deep could be an option. But I think that pairing with Nemanja Matic is really important. One of Donny's strengths is kind of receiving in certain positions and getting the ball. If we were to set United up with, let's say, a Paul Pogba coming inside, Bruno playing inside right, Ronaldo coming into striker, Jadon holding the width, Shaw holding the width. United have got a good front 5 there in a sense. It's a good attacking unit. And I think the thing with Wan-Bissaka, his position's probably going to be higher as well. But what I like about Donny from this position, and especially from that Utrecht game, is he broke forward quite well. And it meant that Ajax in that game were quite unpredictable. They had like Hakim Ziyech dropping off the line. Let's pretend that's Bruno Fernandes. And they kind of like would change positions in a sense, where at times if Ziyech, or let's say Bruno Fernandes in this example, is receiving the ball deep, Donny's intelligent enough to take up that forward position. And we know that one of his biggest strengths is goal scoring. It's getting into the penalty area. It's putting the ball in the back of the net. So if Man United can build a system and shape that has the stability of, let's say a Luke Shaw dropping a little bit, Wan-Bissaka maybe dropping a little bit, to create maybe a band of 3, Matic playing a little higher, Donny very much at a fluid position with Bruno, that is a different level. And I think that is a big thing with the attacking lineup. Like, looking at Marcus Rashford when he's going to be back into the lineup and him playing wide, if United want to play a little bit more controlling and hold their fullbacks like England do, let's say, and it is this kind of front 4 of Rashford, Sancho, and then Ronaldo and Bruno, you've got that extra element that when the ball, let's say, is worked out wide left, and Luke Shaw's providing that width, that Donny can get into the penalty area, and I think that's a big thing. I think not only that is the progression will help. Donny's very much a very intelligent footballer that will drop for the space. In a sense, let's say United are attacking kind of 4-2-3-1 classic with the fullbacks kind of providing the width in the final third. Donny is very, very comfortable at dropping right in, dropping in between the centre halves, but dropping into pockets of space. And I think, a lot of the teams that United are going to come against will play 2 strikers and they'll try and just block United playing through. And I think with Donny's movement and ability to kind of get through and then play those forward passes like we saw in the game against Everton, that he can find the feet of a forward. That's going to be so important. Getting Bruno, Marcus and Jadon Sancho in between the lines, or alternatively Paul Pogba in between the lines, and then allowing them to attack, it's going to be very, very important. And it's one of these positions and roles that Donny has done. There's other options there. The 4-4-2 diamond that we saw at times last season really works for Man United and works for Donny van de Beek, in a sense of, obviously, the width is probably going to come from fullback in Wan-Bissaka, or even throw Diogo Dalot in there, Luke Shaw. Matic very much holding. Donny is kind of a left central midfielder, throwing in a bit of energy in there in Scott McTominay. Or even, if you want to go super offensive, throwing Paul Pogba there. And then banging, let's say, a Greenwood Ronaldo front two in a diamond. Donny van de Beek's future in this team is to help that ball progression, is to help Man United playing through. And I think there's loads of different options with Donny. I think that's the brilliant thing, that he's such an intelligent player, and is from coming from Ajax, you get that kind of level of insight into positional play, into moving to get on the ball and moving to receive in the right areas. And I think Donny's really good at that. And I think that would be a massive strength. And that's the thing, it's not every game. I think that's the interesting side with Donny's role within the squad. It isn't every game, but it's the games that Man United need to break people down, when you know that it's going to be a struggle to beat a 4-4-2 or to beat a 5 at the back. Donny coming in into defensive midfield with Nemanja Matic, allowing United to play, more creative players in there. So, an 11 that you could fit in a 4-2-3-1 could be Ronaldo, Greenwood, Paul Pogba, Matic, Donny. Shaw providing good width down the right-hand side. There's a lot of fluidity there, and United's possession play this season has been good. They progressed through the thirds quite well, and I think Donny just adds another element to that. And that is where his future should be for Man United, as a kind of number 8 in midfield, driving forward, but also getting on the ball. Bit of a roaming playmaker for Donny van de Beek. Receive, give it, move forward, play the forward pass when he needs to. And he's done it for Ajax, done it for Man United at times in certain games. So decent. Very, very, very decent. Thanks for watching, guys. Get into the comments below. What should Donny van de Beek's future be at Manchester United? Of course, go and check out SofaScore. Their link is also in the description below. I've been Statman Dave. See you later.